What's up, and welcome back to Opposites Attract podcast. This is Sonja Ramirez, your girl, and I'm sitting next to my man,
Miguel Ramirez. What's happening, babe?
What's up, babe? How's everything?
Happy birthday to
Me.
you. Happy birthday, babe.
Thank you.
Yesterday was Sonja's birthday.
Yes, and it was fabulous. You know what I recognized or I realized?
What's that?
Every year, it's only getting better.
What?
Yes. And it's so crazy because most women are like freaking out about getting older. And I'm excited.
Yeah?
Isn't that freaking weird? And I say so because every year, it's, for me anyways, I feel like I'm getting closer to what it is that I'm here to do because I'm focusing on becoming the best me.
Yeah.
And every year that I look back on, I have been getting better every year.
Like wine. Oh.
Yeah. You know, but there's just been a lot of growth happening.
Yeah.
You know, and
You're going through some things right now. Through some challenges.
Yes.
Some battles.
Let's not
mentally.
go there because then you're going to get me crying.
But so yesterday for your birthday, we went on a hike.
Yes.
And the hike, one of my friends from jiu-jitsu, Colin, I think Colin listens to the podcast too. He was he had posted something on Facebook a while back, and it was him and his family or him and his girlfriend or wife. They went out on a hike and they found like some wild horses.
Yeah.
And we went to the spot that they went to, and the scenery was nice. Like there was a nice mountain in the background. And even though like there was a bunch of trees that were dead and maybe like burnt, but it was kind of cool seeing some big trees like that.
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden we saw a bunch of horses.
Oh, it was so beautiful. It was very, just different. Like we're just, walking down this trail and we see horses to the left, you know,
and it was a baby horse.
Yeah.
And for those of you listening, I was thinking about this, like from New York, that maybe don't deal with animals too much, except for like pigeons and squirrels and rats.
Yes.
Probably primarily rats. But a lot of people don't know that a pony is not a baby horse.
Right.
A pony is its own thing. It's full grown. It's a horse.
Yeah.
But it's a pony.
Yeah.
A baby horse is a calf.
It's a calf.
Is it a calf? I don't fucking know.
Yes.
I'm not a farmer. I'm just saying. But what I do know is that it's not a pony.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was really cool.
So yesterday,
and we'll post some pictures, or you guys
before
might have
you
seen
even got into that, I wanted to share, like, he asked me, like, what is it that you want to do for your birthday? And because I'm going through some personal growth right now, like I'm at that place where I just need like peace, And so I told him,
tranquility.
I need to go hug me a tree. I need to hug me a tree. And so I'm like, I want to go for a quiet hike. Like I just want to go for a quiet hike, just you and I. And then afterwards, let's go have brunch. And then he's like, well, what do you want to do for the evening? This was last week, 2 weeks ago, maybe.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I want to go out for a happy hour.
No,
remember?
No, you didn't say you wanted to go clubbing.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to go out, like happy hour, and then
the place that you suggested was not a happy hour place.
Yeah, that's true. There was a lot of dancing, a lot of noise, and I'm like, it would be really cool to get just all my close friends together and have, just all this positive energy around me. And then I started to think, I'm like, that's not really what I want. And then I think the following week I had told you maybe, but you're like, what's wrong with you? Because at first I wanted to go party and, be out and do all this. And I'm like, and this is not usually when my birthday comes around, it's just him and I. Like we'll go out dancing, we'll have a great time. And this year I'm like, you know what? I want to do something with the entire family.
Yeah.
I want to share my day with my children and with you. And I want it to be an experience.
Was it an experience?
It was. Audrey, so I told Miguel, I want us to all get dressed up and go out to a really nice restaurant.
Yeah.
And, get Audrey all dolled up and Joey all dolled up. And, and yesterday was my birthday, and it's just every other day. I don't know. It's just like another day, for me.
I think for most people, when they become adults, it's like, all right, it's my birthday.
Yeah. And I don't have to work, but I decided to work. And so with my last appointment, it was just a mess. It really was. I was just sad because anyways, there was some things that happened. Anyways, so then while I'm working, Miguel went and took the kids
shopping.
And so, I'm sitting here finishing up the last touches, and they all come into my office. And they all look so handsome and beautiful. My daughter looks like a little ballerina. You're such a jerk. And they look so cute. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, I haven't showered.
Yeah, you were still dusty from the hike in the morning.
We went hiking and I didn't even have time to shower.
You were busting your ass, man.
I went I did a Mexican shower.
What? So yeah,
I sprayed some perfume on.
We went hiking, then we went out to eat, and then we got home, and you pretty much had to get dressed and go to your signing.
Yes. But
then something went down with the signing, so you had to print more documents and go back and wrap it up. And in the meantime, while you were at the signing, I was shopping. I even cut Joey's hair.
Yes.
And then we're waiting for you, the good thing is we had to go back and get Audrey some shoes. But I mean, we were all ready to go, and you still were dusty.
They looked all great, and I'm like, I stink.
That was funny.
But I loved it. So thank you.
So we ended up going out to a restaurant that's in, what is it, North Phoenix?
Yes.
It's off of 7th Street and Camelback. And it's called, it's part of the Hilton. Different point of view. If you guys are in Phoenix, the view, Sonja wanted a view for some reason last night. She was fixated. She's like, I want to go somewhere with a view.
Yes.
And there's a bunch of places in Phoenix, and I'm sure there's a lot that I don't know of, but there's 2 of them that we've been to that are really nice. If you want to go to a place that has a really nice view, there's the Compass Room. And you know what? If you don't have a lot of money, just go to these places and have dessert. It's going to be expensive, but it's going to be an experience.
Yes. Just
go for dessert. Go and have a drink. A lot of these resort places, they have lounges and bars. And just go for a drink. That's one thing that I had talked to you about. It's just nice to treat yourself, and you don't have to spend a lot of money to do it. If you have a wife, what a great thing to do is get them just a manicure at a resort, because once you get them the manicure, they can hang out at the resort for the rest of the day. Yeah. Obviously, they're not going to get the massages and all that, but they can hang out in the eucalyptus room.
Oh, I loved that room.
The hot tubs, the pool. I mean, and you get that, you spend $35, $45, $50 for a manicure, which is expensive.
Yeah.
But you get to hang out the whole day for that. And get your cell phone and both of you go.
30, that's normal, baby.
Is it?
Yeah.
Or it may be more. It will be more.
Yeah,
but
it will be
you
more.
will get the experience of hanging out at a really nice resort.
Yes.
So.
Yes. So, I wanted the scenery because I told you, I'm at that point right now where I'm taking in, just
experiencing.
Yes, everything. And I wanted the kids to experience it as well. And so we will post some pictures. Sorry.
You guys might have already seen them because they'll be out.
We'll post some pictures on the group page, though.
It'll
Facebook
be out.
Group page of us. And it was just amazing. And my daughter, I was so nervous because there's 8 and 10. And I'm like, okay, they're goofy. Sometimes they're
eating with
fighting,
their hands.
Sometimes but they were actually
really
on
good.
point.
Yeah.
And so we were so busy that I didn't get a chance. My daughter, she's so cute. She wrote me she
stole one of your thank you cards that you give
for
your
my
clients.
But this morning I didn't see it because we were running. I was running yesterday like crazy after the hike and everything, but it is so cute. So it says, "Hi, Mom. We wrote you this letter after school. Happy birthday, Mom. We love you. I hope you have a good birthday. I hope you like the flowers that Yaya got you."
She's claiming other people's gifts.
"I love you to the moon and back. You are sweet like candy, fast like a cheetah, and loving like an angel. I hope you like your card, Audrey." And then Joey, you are very sweet and you are very kind. I love you. And then she drew me a little picture of me. It's so cute.
Yeah, it is super cute.
On YouTube, if you want to see this. And then she has, it's just the cutest thing ever. And this is like the best,
This is the first Christmas card.
Card ever.
Birthday.
It's just so sweet. And it's these little things that count. Like when you ask me, what do you want for your birthday? I'm just like, there's nothing that like I really want other than just to be with you guys.
Yeah.
Which
kind of leads into something else that we're getting ready to talk about. Like wanting things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Material things. Like sometimes people think that those things will make them happy.
Right.
Like, oh, if I get that, that'll make me happy.
Mm-hmm.
And recently it's been coming up a lot. And we've been talking about Buddhism.
Yeah.
And just kind of like I had mentioned it to you a few months ago. Mm-hmm. But little by little, it just kind of pops in. We started listening to this book, which we're going to talk about in a little bit, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck by Mark Manson. And we weren't expecting it. But in that book, he goes over the story of Buddha.
Mm-hmm.
And then even when he closes the book out, he talks about mindfulness and meditation and a bunch of other stuff, which is all, it has to deal with Buddhism. And then I don't remember it's came up several other times and we're just kind of like, it's kind of interesting. Or it's kind of like one of those things, like, has that always been around and we're just now noticing that it's coming up, or is it coming up more because we're
looking into it, like we're now...
And then you
we're
brought up, what was that? Secular Buddhist? Is that the name of the podcast?
Yes.
So we started listening to a little bit of that podcast, and I've only heard the first couple episodes, and it's really cool. Like it goes over some of the teachings of Buddhism. But recently, I've been able to reconnect, or a couple years ago, I was able to reconnect with a really old friend of mine, and you can go ahead and give him a call.
All right, awesome.
We're going to give him a call to get him on the show, but this friend of mine, go ahead. This friend of mine, he is, like when I think about my oldest friends, this is one of them. I mean, we haven't talked. There was like a long stretch where we kind of lost touch, but because of the magic of Facebook, we were able to, reconnect.
Okay,
but
he's on.
This is someone that I think we may have went to kindergarten. It was definitely elementary school, but it may have been as early as kindergarten.
He's on.
Okay. And, so we've been friends for over 30 years, and I would like...
SMS notification, press 5.
Maybe not.
Yeah, give him a call again.
Okay.
But, we've done projects together, and I remember there was a certain point, like there's those people in your life that when you look back, or for him, when I look back at my early childhood...
Hello?
My childhood was better because of it, because of knowing him. Like I have great memories of him as a kid.
See if he's on. I think we should just let it ring because then we'll know if he's on.
Okay.
Hello?
There he is.
Hey, Rich. This is Rich Capac. Welcome to the podcast. Look at that. You get the sound, the applause.
Oh, wow.
What's up, Rich? I was just telling everybody a little bit about, I can't even remember how we met, but elementary school. Like we've known each other, when you think about it, like 30 years.
Yeah, it's been a while, right?
Was it like kindergarten, first grade, something like that, right?
I think, let me see if I can remember. It was probably either second or third grade, but I know it was very, very like early stages of our, elementary.
Our childhood, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember
CS29,
there was
remember.
yeah, that's right. I got to take my wife and the kids back there. But I was just telling my wife and the people that are listening, like I had sent you a message a while back. I was just kind of thinking back at my childhood, and there's like certain memories that you have that kind of make you happy as a kid. And hanging out with you was one of those. I remember going to your house, and that's one of the things I remember. You used to kick my ass in Street Fighter all the time. Like you were so good. And I used to love playing, so we would go to his house, and him and his brother, man, they would just destroy everybody.
That's funny.
My God, I forgot about those Street Fighters.
Until he was a man.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you for sharing that actually you had good memories. I enjoy all my, I look back and I'm like, wow, and I compared to other people, and I think I had a really happy, childhood. I think a lot of people ask for different things, but I just, today I'm in a space I can say that I'm very happy with and grateful with everything that I have,
Yeah.
I feel amazing.
Definitely. And then he also brought up something that I didn't remember, but when he reminded me, it kind of refreshed my memory about a project that we did together. We did like this volcano project.
Yeah.
And
oh my goodness.
I can guarantee you that Rich carried me through that project because that's just how I was in school. I was never really good at it.
That's
wow,
hilarious.
do you remember about the project though? I do remember.
How did it go down? Because I know I have an idea, but how was it?
I remember the teacher. I think he was what teacher was it? The science teacher. I remember his face. I remember Scarlett, I think it was his last name. But I remember we had a project. We had a time frame to do it. I think we started like maybe before it. The timeline maybe
Of course.
in a week before. I think we started doing it at your house.
Yeah.
And your dad was supervising. I remember your dad too.
Yeah.
Your dad was, he was a supervisor. I remember we were working on day one. We progressed. So you know what? We started with an idea. Like I threw an idea out there. We were just throwing ideas. What do we do? Because we had to create something like scientific or something, just anything, they said.
Yeah.
And then we thought about a boat that can move in the water with a motor on its own or with batteries and a remote control. So we thought, let's get like a little fan connected to some shape and put it in the water. I don't know if you remember. That did not go well.
Yeah.
We didn't know mechanics. We didn't know a lot of things that we learned a lot of the project. Okay, this is not working. So we took so many days trying to figure it out.
So that ship
on
sank.
our own. That thing just sank. It didn't go nowhere. Your dad got upset with us. Like, what are you guys doing? So we ended up. I remember.
Last minute.
The day before, we were like, this is over. Yeah, we tried everything. Oh my God, it was sad. Hey, we're little kids, we're trying to be scientific as much as we could. And we had a great idea, I think, we just couldn't execute it with the experience and knowledge that we had, I think.
Gotcha.
But we ended up doing a volcano, super simple. Like you put a tube and we put paper over it and then make foam come out with colors or something.
So
I don't even think
I think what it was,
colors, though.
If I remember right, I think the outside of the volcano was made out of like brown paper bags.
Okay.
We got the those color papers. What do you call it?
Like construction paper?
They had color paper. We used a lot of brown ones, and we just put it on top of it or something like that.
Okay.
And first, we tried to color it. We tried to color white paper. That looked bad. So everything we did was not amazing.
It was going from bad to worse.
Oh no!
We kept laughing through the whole project. We were like, "This was having fun." I think.
Yeah.
Your dad was getting. I remember
cool.
your dad was getting upset with us. And like, they take it serious, guys. I was like, "Oh,
you guys are
and
gonna
I remember
fail."
telling him, "Oh no, this is serious, sir." I was telling him, "We don't want to fail. We want to get a good grade."
That's funny.
And it ended up we did the project like that. We handed it in. It was not a A+. It was, at this point we just wanted to pass.
Yeah, we just wanted to turn something in.
And the teacher, I think he had his own comments. Do you remember? It wasn't pleasant either.
It wasn't pleasant.
But hey, we finished the project, our first one. I think that was pretty good for I thought it was an accomplishment.
That's awesome. So Richie, what do you do?
It's teamwork. It was teamwork too.
That's right.
It wasn't like that was the idea in the end. I thought it was great.
So Richie, what do you do now for a living?
Okay, so I'm involved in real estate.
Oh, okay.
And I started with property management, managing investors' rentals.
Okay.
And then we recently opened up a sales division where we're helping now buyers and sellers either sell their homes or achieve more. If it's a regular owner they're going to live in, or investors that want to grow their portfolio. So let's say they have 2 units or 1 unit, they want to buy another 2 units or 6 units. They just keep buying more rentals for their portfolio as
Oh,
investment.
okay.
So we were going to get into this at the end, but if anybody, is this nationwide what you're doing?
No, right now we are doing New Jersey
Okay.
sales. Our office our partner actually has offices in New Jersey, and they opened up an office in New York.
Okay.
And there's plans to open up one in Florida in the near time, frame. So that's,
Nice.
I guess the idea is to expand, which is great.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah, that's
So-
very interesting. I actually took a class for that specifically, multifamily housing, and it was very interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, it's very, to me, it's very exciting. The reason it's exciting is because if you dive deep into, I guess, anything, but in this particular area, investing in rentals, we're more of I guess you could say we're managing their rentals, making sure that it's being producing and it's for a lot of people this is their income.
Yeah.
And their future wealth. So it's a lot of responsibility, and we take this very, very seriously. We want to make sure everything is in place, the property is being managed correctly, the tenant is in good terms, and we're complying with the city or state. Those are the three areas we focus on always on when we do property management. Management companies should strive to do the same. And the great thing is you can really think about it. If you start investing in rentals, you think about it in a way of long term, right? If you invest in a rental, as you look into it, every state's a little different, but there's a lot of tax benefits. You can save a lot of, in taxes. You can, let's say you're paying 20%. In New Jersey, you pay about around there. You can lower your taxes. If you have the right CPA or accountant, you can structure so many vehicles. The reason, all these people, you can look it up, like they say 80 to 90% of millionaires have some type of real estate that they started with that helps them get that opportunity. And having Trump in place right now, it has opened a lot of doors. He's opened, obviously because he's a real estate guy, right? He's going to go even deeper to help other people that are doing it. So it's a lot of incentives that happens if you really look into it. Government, state, and if you connect all those dots, you can really pay very little taxes. So it's all about gaining this knowledge, right?
Very cool.
And knowing how to apply it as well.
Well, that is definitely something that we're going to have to talk to you on maybe a different podcast or directly, because that's something that we're interested in doing. So,
hey, Rich,
exciting. Yeah, definitely.
If anybody wants to get a hold of you, how can they do that?
Well, they can reach out to my email. It's Richard at the Crown Group. That's THE Crown CROWNE Group GROUP.com.
Okay.
That's my email. And I guess I'm okay, giving my cell. Just text me because a lot of the phone calls that goes to voicemail, I'm backed up always with voicemail. But it's 908-583-4402.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, so if you guys have any questions or you're interested in getting into that area of investing, make sure you guys give Rich a call. So, Rich, I guess a while back on Facebook, I had seen there was something, I think you had put namaste on something, and this was like years ago. Excuse me. And I didn't really, I had seen the word before, but I didn't know what it meant. And then just kind of talking to you over, the last year or so. And then I saw a picture of you and your family going to a Buddhist temple, I guess, right?
Yeah.
So, I kind of wanted to talk to you a little bit about that. Like, how did you grow up? What was, did you go to church or anything with your family?
Well, yeah, actually my parents are Catholic. So we would go to Sunday church, do the whole process.
Yeah.
I guess as the years went by, I just didn't resonate much with certain things. And maybe because I stopped going also to church and other things I started going into. And I actually became in my, I would say teens, late teens, I was atheist. I didn't believe much in the religion perspective.
Yeah.
I believed in science and math. I believe these material things would actually is moving our society and our culture and everything going forward with technology and science. So I believe in that. What I can see, because I believe religion to a certain place, there is a portion that you have to have faith and belief, right? That you're believing in something higher than you, right? At some level, I think that's a common ground.
Yep.
And then later in my life, I would say maybe early 20s into my mid 20s, I had this different perspective of life, let's just say.
Yeah.
And where that took me was where this amazing feeling where, there's something beyond what we do every day. We get up in the morning, we're working and all this other things that we do during the day to make a living, to, better ourselves and physically, going to the gym or whatever we like to do. But I started, seeing a perspective on the spirit side beyond the normality of things. So, and I was like, wow, let me explore it. So I started diving into and researching, more of the spirit and consciousness. And that led me to, believe it or not, it was the consciousness of higher consciousness. That term meaning like understanding a certain perspective of reality and beyond, right? Like you hear cosmic reality, the cosmos and universe. How that idea just triggers some in my mind. It's like, okay, I want to know more. What is this? All this talk, and that unraveled into checking different religions, what resonates with me more. And I saw Buddhism, and I looked into who Buddha was, how he lived from before and later in his life. Similar, I looked into Jesus Christ, and then started seeing different religions, just in different perspectives of my own perspective. Because I believe, you can read something and one time of your life, let's say 20 years old, and you're reading the same material at 30 years old, I believe the perspective changes of that reality changes a little bit, because you have different experience that you go through, and that experience changes it. It's something like, to make it more simple, it'd be like, let's say I pass by a home, and that house looks like terrible, like it's all messed up, and you pass by, I would never buy that. But an investor sees that, oh my God, they see gold. They're like, this is a huge opportunity. So it's the same thing where I would have not seen the same thing until later on. I said, oh wow, this means something different now for me.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I ended up with, believe it or not, shamanism, and Buddhism, very similar, type of, in the India has a lot of this, energy perspective as well, which led me to all this collective of information. There's some very similar, things between Buddhism, shamanism, and now I'm learning about, some Indian cultures as well.
Yeah, my mom's really into that.
Sikh, I think it's called.
Yeah, the Sikh. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very similar, and it all comes down to believing in, oneness, how we're connected all together, really, and how we're not really different. It's just a perspective of differences. How we're really, at multiple levels, we're very connected. If you have a different perspective of life, I guess. I do believe everything, has a purpose in life. The trees, the leaves, earth, everything, the wind, the clouds, there has a meaning for it.
So
that led me to not eat actually meat and all that stuff, but that's another.
So
topic.
how does that play into what you were thinking before, like when you were kind of thinking about like science and math and how that plays out in the world, and now with Buddhism and all the other things that you're studying? How do they interact?
How do they interact? Okay, so like I was saying before, there's different perspectives, right?
Yeah,
so
because
in one perspective, reality is, you can see it. Technology, math, and science is helping and driving society and our world, right? But I do see a different perspective today, where there is this type of energy consciousness, I guess you can call it, where beyond ourselves there is a spirit. You know, my belief, again, this is my belief, I don't tune into anybody, is we are a spirit in a body, rather than people thinking we're a body with a spirit. To me, it's a little different. And some of this religions that I'm talking about have a common ground on that understanding as well.
Right.
Hence why I resonate with that as well.
We refer to that as the Holy Spirit. You know, like Christians, the God within you.
Yes.
So
very similar.
Like where
very.
with like, let's say Christianity or something, like where science kind of and the Bible, like they kind of contradict on certain things. Does it have is there instances of that in Buddhism and the other religions that you're studying? Well, I don't even think
no, because Buddhism is not a religion, correct?
I would say some see it as religion, because there's actually recently I learned there was different branches of Buddhism as well. Just like, and I didn't know about that. I was like, wow, look at that. Because I also learned recently that Buddha ate meat. You know, people don't think they were vegan. They were not vegan. So there's different branches, and they follow different perspectives of the same religion, of the collective. Like, I think there's also other different branches of Christianity or Catholicism or different names that exist in that as well, similar. And as well as Sikh, I think it comes from a different branch, and it's very interesting as you dive in. There is a common ground. Like in Christianity, I think Christ, they call it as Christ consciousness. Jesus Christ, he was an ascended master, where he reached highest potential of a human capacity, where you can see he do miracles and all these amazing things for humanity. And you can, if you study and you read all these other things, you see there's always a person that goes that level. So they call it ascended masters, a certain level that everybody, those people reach, and they were able to share that amongst the people that were around during that time.
Okay.
And you know, that's where I'm at right now. Like what I say, am I like boxed in? Okay, I'm 100% Buddhism. I wouldn't box myself in. I would say I'm open to everybody that believes in love, and you know, and caring about people, helping people. I resonate with that, and there is a common ground that I noticed. They talk about this as I'm reading through with my friends that are Christians and Catholic, some type of silence within yourself they talk about. And there's a common ground with all religions. I'm seeing something within ourselves inside, or there's this silence that I'm learning about, and it's amazing, really. And I think anything that shares this common ground of love and that frequency of energy is amazing, and I resonate with that. So that is a talk. You know, I know there's other perspectives that people bring on their own perspectives on a certain type of religion, wherever religion there is, and if they're putting their own perspective and then might not go is aligned with that, I don't resonate with that. You know, I resonate with more on that frequency, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I believe that. I believe, you know, that it's about love and serving others. You know, it's about love and serving others. And so there is, you know, hearing you go over Buddhism, there's a lot of similarities within all the religions. And I think it's just being able to have that inner peace, joy, love, and to be able to help others to find the same.
Yeah.
I think you said it perfectly, beautifully.
Yeah.
Actually, that's exactly what I agree with as well.
So one thing I wanted to go over real quick, if you can help us out, just for people that may not know, but just like a couple terms that we've been hearing recently, but what is enlightenment? When somebody says that they're enlightened, or in like the Buddhist perspective, like what is enlightenment?
Okay. I guess depending on who you talk to, it might be a little different. But to me, it means reaching a certain level of consciousness. And now consciousness can be termed as awareness of certain things. So enlightening, like Buddha was enlightening. They say that Jesus Christ reached that level as well. So it's reaching a certain level of consciousness, of awareness, where you are
aligned.
In this, you can call it alignment. Yeah, this alignment with this oneness with everything. Like everything is so beautiful and connected, and you can go. You've gone beyond certain limitations of the regular norm that we see every day. So this is where even we look up to certain people in the different religions, right? They reach this level of enlightenment. You know, you might call it differently again, in different terms, but that's what they are trying to say. They reach this level of consciousness, awareness.
Okay.
That is that you want to. Everybody has the ability to reach. It's just that obviously, like anything else, you can do everything in life, but certain people are going to resonate with different things and reach certain things in their life.
Yeah.
So
my perspective.
I feel that that's the process that I'm going through right now. Because a lot
awesome.
Thank you. So, and it's tough. It's very, very tough because, unlike you had a very happy, childhood and everything was great. With me, there was a, divorce. It was just a lot going on. And in order for me to reach that level, there are some things that I have a whole lot of healing and self-reflecting, and it's tough. It's hard. To be able to peel back the onion, peel back the layers to get to my truth in order for me to continue to find that peace, joy, and happiness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what would you say mindfulness? What would you say mindfulness is? How could you explain that?
I would put it into being conscious of your thoughts, what you say, what you think, what you feel. For example, every day, we're going to think about so many things, right? Depending on what we're doing in our agenda. Some are busier than others. But you can start your day with saying, oh, man, have so many issues and concerns and worry about so many things. And recently I've been reading on this scientist, world speaker. His name is Joe Dispenza.
Yeah, I've heard of him.
And he speaks about there's two things that happen with the mind, right? Either you're living in the past. If you look at this term that I'm using right now, it is the past. Because if you're thinking about something negative, it's something in the past that happened already, right?
Yeah.
Or you're priming your mind to the future. Now your mind, he says, if you think about it, it doesn't see anything, right? Your eyes are seeing it. Your mind, and this is a different talk, obviously, because we're now talking about the mind, and there's different levels of understanding in the mind as well. But the mind, you can visualize something in the future. It doesn't know if it's the future or the past. So if you prime it for the future, and you start seeing things that you want, and you associate it with a feeling, now this term comes into place. Law of attraction, a connection of manifestation happens where it becomes into your reality, basically. So he was saying in the past, how we used to think was, through our brains, how, do this, and then you achieve this goal at the end after you go all through this level of putting all this grinding day to day. Now into the future, this is all, and this is the amazing thing I like about him is everything he's saying is documented with science. They actually have all this documentation. So he's not just saying something just by saying it by faith, and he's experienced it as well. And in sharing this experience, other people are experiencing in this workshop, which is amazing. Nice. Where now he's saying the now in the future is happening where you're able to, if you're able to understand your mind and prime it for the future, it can actually come to you much faster and much easier. But understanding this level of awareness is important. Healing yourself, like you were saying before, is important to go through those things and make amends with you and
Yes.
forgiveness. It's
Yes.
one of the things that Buddha talks about, and I think multiple religions in their own way, right? Whatever you resonate with. I think religion is beautiful today. If it's used in the way it's supposed to be used, right? In what you mentioned before about love, compassion, and that silence and inner peace, giving back and helping people.
Nice.
So I don't know if that helps.
Yeah, definitely. So Sonja has she has agreed that we're gonna look up a Buddhist temple somewhere in the area, and we're gonna go check it out just to see what it's like and see what we think. Because we're not closed off to checking out new stuff and learning from different places. So yeah, we're gonna do that.
Awesome, that's awesome. Yeah, I feel those temples are really very quiet, very peaceful. Everybody's so happy, like joyful. It's so amazing. The ones I've gone to, and I think it's the same everywhere else. I hope. But lastly, for the mindfulness, that's basically what I was mentioning before. I think it's just being aware of that. Your thoughts. Think about it. If you start your day with, it's gonna be an amazing day. Whether and you start saying this and you map out your day, what do you want to do that's going to be the most impactful, positive way in your day? Now, will you hit all of them? Possibly not, because there's going to be issues. That's okay. How you interact with that situation. I think that's where that's the difference, I think, between a person that's mindful and not mindful, because a situation will always happen. Now, will you dive into that situation, or will you say, okay, I'm aware there's a situation, I'm not going to dive into emotion, more like, okay, how can we balance this situation and make it more positive and learn from it? Because we're always learning every day. This is the way I see life today, every day, everything. I actually do this every day. So, are we, do I get upset? Probably, like, I feel the awareness of, this is making me upset. So diving into it, like, for hours, no, probably like a minute or two. And I'm like, okay, I feel this, because we're human. It's okay to feel every emotion, but being aware and try to pivot, it's very important to not consume it. And this is where mindful comes into it as well, at a different level, as you dive into this term. Nice.
Well, we definitely appreciate you being with us, Rich, and explaining some of the different things that you're studying. And if anybody wants to look into doing any type of real estate investing, if you have a rental property and you're in the New York, New Jersey, and in the future, if you're in the Florida area, make sure you guys give Rich a call or send him an email. So, Hey, Rich, I definitely appreciate you coming on the podcast, and it's great talking to you, man.
Oh, likewise. Thank you for having me. Nice meeting you over the phone with your lovely wife.
Yeah, next time we're in the area, we'll get together.
Oh, definitely. And I'm following you guys. I think you guys are doing amazing in the podcast. I really like it. I like it like you guys are so raw. You just no filters. I was like, oh my God, it's amazing. It's amazing.
Is there anything that you would like to share before we let you go? Anything you're feeling? Anything you want to share?
Well, I feel amazing. I hope your audience has an amazing day and does resonate in what you shared a little earlier in love, inner peace, and be able to help others.
Yes.
I hope everybody goes through amazing.
Definitely. Keep an open mind and look to get better, whether it's with religion or spirituality or whatever makes you happy. I guess to an extent, some people,
right on.
but just focus on getting better. But definitely, Rich, we appreciate having you on.
Appreciate your time.
Thank you so much, guys.
All right,
have an amazing day.
You too. We'll talk to you next time.
Bye.
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 That was awesome.
Yeah.
So it's so funny. Like he's talking about, like being aware.
Yeah.
Ooh, yesterday.
You were aware of everything?
I was aware. I was just like, because I felt so bad and I felt, like the time, it was late. And I'm like, I'm not going to allow this to ruin my day. Like,
It's your
okay,
birthday.
it sucks. It happened. It's your business. You got to fix it. You got to do what you got to do. And
you know what? Like, really, if you think, we could have done it today.
we could have.
But
Yeah.
we were all ready to go yesterday.
You guys
But
look
the
so
truth
nice.
is, like, your birthday, it's just a day. Just like, you know what? Valentine's Day is coming up.
Yes.
And if you guys are looking at buying something for your significant other, a great place that you can go to is oppositesattractpod.com. Make sure you click on the support the show tab
Yes.
and click on the Amazon link, and you can buy whatever you want through there, and it also helps out the show. And you'll also see a link to Trust Inc. there.
Yes.
And Trust Inc. is?
We are a nationwide mobile notary agency. We do a lot of work with title companies, law firms, and individuals as well.
And
So
individuals.
if you have a document that needs to be notarized, reach out. And we are also independent associates with Legal Shield. And what Legal Shield does is it gives you access to attorneys at the palm of your hand for a small monthly.
There's all kinds of services, a lot of the
Yes.
stuff that you would use on a regular basis, consultation, letters and document review, letters and phone calls written on your behalf if you're having a situation. The plans are different in every state,
Yep.
but if you get a hold of us, we can share that with you.
Right.
And you can also go directly to trustinkUSA.com and
Yes.
oppositesattractpod.com.
And if you're a business owner as well, we have plans for you.
Excellent. So, but what I was going to say before I got derailed by our promotions, Valentine's Day is usually, it's just a day.
Yeah.
It really is. It's just an
I think Hallmark made it up.
Yeah, it's one of those Hallmark holidays like Mother's Day, like Father's Day.
Give me
which
your
are great.
money.
Which are great, but you know what? You probably shouldn't appreciate your partner one time a day.
Right.
One time a year.
Right.
You probably shouldn't appreciate your mom or dad just that one time a year.
Right.
And you know what? I feel like it's probably more meaningful when it comes on a different day,
Yeah.
because it's like, okay, this is the day that you're supposed to do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But we usually don't really do anything on Valentine's Day. Like, we'll probably either do something a couple weeks before or maybe a couple weeks after.
I don't remember. I think we do go out for dinner or something. I don't know.
I
I
don't-
don't remember.
We haven't really gotten, no. You know,
don't
you know why you don't remember? You would remember the fucking disaster that's out there on Valentine's Day if we did.
Oh.
We don't go through that.
Yeah, that's right.
We don't go through any of that.
Yeah.
Because it's like, you know what?
Because you love me every day. Every day. You love me every day. But that's true.
yeah.
That's true. But our kids though, like they love it. It's a fun day.
Yeah.
And it's fun for them.
So there was something that Rich was talking about. He was saying, now we can kind of get into the book that we've been listening to, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck by Mark Manson. And it's an awesome book. Like, we definitely recommend this book for everybody out there. But he was saying something about how you're in the past. Like, whatever you're thinking about, I don't know if I'm saying it exactly right. Like, it's in the past. There's something that, I guess it's not exactly the same, but he was saying that placing fault, whenever something happens to you, placing fault is in the past. You're looking to blame something or somebody or whatever. Like, that's
Right.
in the past. And accepting responsibility is in the present. You know what I mean? Like, you're like, at this moment right now, that I'm accepting responsibility for whatever it is that happened, and I can move forward. And that's the thing with accepting responsibility for your situations. If you're trying to place fault, then there's not much that you can do about whatever it is that happened, because you're giving whatever that is the power of that situation. But if you accept responsibility, then now it's your thing to handle, to deal with, Why are you looking at me like that?
You're batting your eyes at me. I'm like, babe, we're doing a podcast right now. We can't do any of that. No.
So let's get into this book a little bit.
I thought it was very interesting. Where do you want to start off? At?
I mean,
What
I
are you gonna
got a list of stuff.
Me too. Like, we're not gonna have enough time to
go
over all
let's
of
go.
this.
Let's hit it.
But what was
what do you want to talk
so
about?
crazy? Because
What's that?
I was one of those people. Okay, before, I would read romance novels like crazy. Like I had a crap load, and I was so into
the ones with the dude on the
that.
horse on the beach with the girl on the back of the horse, and he's got no shirt on.
Yes, and I loved all of it. And I was very good at romancing, wasn't I?
Yeah.
Like, man, I was good at it. But it's so funny how he says, like, you know, back in the day, like today we are batshit over like love. Like, love. Everybody wants, you know, that
they want that fairy tale
marriage,
Disney love.
Yes. And that's probably what happened was those damn Disney cartoons. Okay.
Yeah.
But he's like, back in the day, that's not what marriage was about. Matter of fact, that's not something they even looked
That's
at.
probably pretty recent. Like back in the day, I mean, for most of history, it was set up.
Yeah, exactly.
And in
for
a lot of
what?
places
for
today, it's still
financial
set up.
reasons. Like, you know, like if you're a king, like it's just family.
Where were we at? We were watching that 90 Day Fiance where they were having
my
a.
mom,
we were at your mom's house.
My mom loves that thing.
Where they were like this dude was from Nigeria and like the girlfriend
she was
or the
like
fiance
31.
had to no, he was 31.
31.
She was like
she was
50
53.
something.
She was 53.
And she had to bring gifts for the mom, for the aunt, for everybody. I mean, you know, and in some places of the world, it's still, I mean, they weren't set up, but it's still like that where your families will get together and be like, hey, guess what? You're marrying that person right there.
Yeah. Yeah. But I never looked at it that way. And today it's like, you know, I mean, I think things are changing, you know, but I was never that little girl walking around in a white dress talking about how I can't wait to get married. But I think it's just because of the experiences that experience that I gone through.
Well, marriage led to divorce, and that led to pain and all that.
Right.
You know, so you probably.
But he said that a lot of people get a brain boner.
Yeah.
Over, you know, love and marriage, and you know, so you know, don't rush into anything.
Yeah.
You know, when it's time, when it's your time,
it'll be right.
It's going to happen. And I think that's what happens when people want this.
Yeah.
Perfect love. They rush into things.
Yeah.
Instead of really getting to know that person and what it is and getting to know yourself first. It's all about getting to know yourself.
Yeah.
Because you can't love someone else until you love yourself.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't think it's healthy. It's not healthy because if you don't love yourself, if you're not secure in yourself, then you rely on the other person to fill your voids.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're relying on the other person to fill your voids. And if you guys both, I mean, and that doesn't mean that you guys can't have issues when you get together.
Right.
But as long as you guys are both focused on working to get better and figuring things out, then you'll be all right. I think.
Yeah. And it's all about being honest.
Yeah.
From the get-go, from the beginning.
Yeah.
You know,
communication.
like he was talking about that, you know, us Westerners, you know, are so focused on wanting everybody to like us and to love us, you know?
Oh, yeah.
And in Russia, you know, he said, because this man was traveling everywhere and he was trying to find himself and he ended up in Russia. And he said,
I don't like.
And he said that he went on this coffee date with some Russian girl. And in the middle of their coffee date, he had said something. And she's like,
you're an idiot.
She's like, that's stupid. What you said sounded stupid. And he nearly like spit out his coffee because he's like, what the hell? Like,
yeah.
You know, because in Russia, they speak their mind.
They
they
let you know what's
mind.
up. And and for us, it seems like it's abrasive.
Yeah,
and
like
it's
that's rude.
Like, how could you say something like that? But the thing is that they, like what he was talking about in the book is that when somebody is like that, it may not feel good.
Right.
But
they're being honest.
They're being honest, and in a way you feel like you can trust that person because they will tell you.
What's up?
You know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of, you know what this reminds? It reminds me of, for those of you that aren't watching.
He's putting his finger up.
You can watch our podcast on YouTube, on Facebook, and you can listen on all the podcast apps. But what it reminds me of, not to say that it's bad, but Legal Shield presentations. I love the Legal Shield people. Like, it's a great atmosphere. It's a great environment to be around. But there are times when, like, I mean, we'll do presentation. We've done presentations in front of a room, in front of, I don't know, 50, 60, 100 people, 400 people, whatever. And there'll be times when you go out there and you do your thing and you kind of feel like, that wasn't my best.
Right.
But then people will come up to you like, oh my God, that was amazing. You know, you guys are so awesome. And it's like, thanks. It's like everything that you touch or
That's
everything
not
that
true.
you do is incredible. But I've had, you know what I mean, though.
Yeah, I know what you mean. But I just, from the get-go, like, I would tell, you know, my business partners when I'm up there, because I was so fearful of it. Like, this dude, he'd get up there and do his thing. Like, Miguel was just a natural. Me, that scared the holy bejesus out of me. So when I would ask for them to tell me the truth, like, what can I get better at?
Yeah.
You know, but no, you're like, they just love you regardless.
Could you imagine if you were doing a Legal Shield presentation in Russia and you asked for some feedback?
Right. Oh my gosh. You know, but no, you know what
You're
that
an
reminds
idiot.
me of? It's like, okay, I come out and I think I'm looking cute. You know, like, I feel good and I put my hair.
You're feeling yourself?
Yes, I'm feeling myself, and I put my hair a certain way, or I wore something different, you know, and you look at me and, you know, I think I look cute. And I ask you, hey, baby, how do I look? And I'm looking crazy. You know, if you were to say, you know what, babe, that does not look flattering on you.
Yeah.
Like, I'd rather have that versus you saying, baby, you look hot, and then me looking crazy.
So one thing that they were talking about is that nobody trusts a yes man. Yeah. So if you think about at work, you have people that are yes men. Like, whatever the boss says,
like brown
whatever
nosers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever the boss says, it's like, oh yes, boss. How to, you know, that's so amazing. You did so great. And yes, boss. Yes, boss. Yes. Nobody trusts that person.
Yeah.
Because they know that not everything is a yes. Mm-hmm. That person cannot be trusted.
Right.
You know, the person that's like, hey, you know what? This is what's up. And it may, in a way, affect your career, or it may not be exactly what the boss wants to hear, but they're like, damn, I can't believe it. Like, everybody's thinking it. I can't believe he said it. Mm-hmm. But I can trust that guy.
It's speaking your truth.
I got one of those guys at work.
You know?
Yeah.
It's speaking your truth. That's what it is.
Yep.
See, but the thing of it, not everybody, listen, there's some negative nannies out there.
And I'm not saying do that at work, because you might get in trouble. You got to pick and choose your battles.
That just like to be assholes, regardless.
True.
Like, if you're doing great and they're hating on you, they're not speaking their truth. They're speaking. Do you see what I'm saying? So that can be a good thing, and it could be a bad thing, because that's what he said, is that, you know, it was awakening for him because everybody there spoke their mind. Well, here, you know, and if that were to happen here, we would find them rude, obnoxious, overbearing, whatever. But at least they're speaking their truth. At least they're, you know, but there are some people that are bananas that will say shit that's not really true, but they feel it's their truth. So could you imagine that?
Yeah. I can't imagine, like, growing up in a culture like that, because what he was also saying is, like, your friends, like, your real friend, like, they're close. They're really close. But I can't imagine growing up in a culture like that and then coming to a culture like this. You know, where everybody is like, nobody wants any confrontation. You know, nobody wants any of that.
Yeah.
So, what you got?
Go ahead.
Well, there was another part that they were talking. He was talking about suffering and going through things, like when soldiers go to battle and they deal with all this physical but emotional, mental stress. And a lot of times people want to avoid that kind of stuff.
Like the plague.
Yeah. And what he was saying is just as one must suffer through physical pain to build stronger bone and muscle, one must suffer emotional pain to develop a greater emotional resilience and a stronger sense of self, increased compassion, and a generally happier life. Yes. Our most radical changes in perspective often happen at the tail end of our worst moments.
Yes, that is so true. And it's very hard to do. It is. It's very hard to do. Like I am going through some things, as you know, like, I have a counselor. I'm going, just doing some things, and I, don't remember my childhood. And so a lot of things are coming to me, and there's times where I'm just crying, right, babe? Like I'm just,
well, yeah,
it's very it's,
you have a great cloud over you recently. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's okay. And it's hard for me to tell myself it's okay, because when I started to feel like this, I started to feel guilty, because I'm like, I have an amazing husband, relationship with you. Like, we're doing all these good things. Why am I feeling sad? Why am I feeling depressed? Why am I feeling this way? And I remember waking up and I'm like, you know what? I'm not going out today, and I'm just going to watch TV. And then God's like, no, you're not. You got to face this. You got to feel it. You got to live it. You got to be in it. And that's what he said, like, dive into it. He said, let me find it. Oh, I was just reading it.
Yeah, you can't, you have to go through that. Because if all you do is like figure out a way to make it go away, then it's just going to come back.
Yeah. He said, stop avoiding the pain, dive deep, feel it, get angry, cry out, give yourself time. Then when you're ready, let it go. And he says to seek, and I'm using a counselor right now, but he says to seek help. But the healing process hurts.
Yeah.
But know that in order to live a fulfilled life, you have to go through this process. And so many of us, when we start to feel this way, we have an outlet. And a lot of times it's not a very good outlet. For me, it's TV. And that's what I shared with you. Like, I don't watch a lot of TV. If you come and you see me in my onesie watching TV,
get me out of it.
Something's wrong. Well, not get me out of it, but it's just for you to be aware, okay, she's going through some things.
Yeah.
For you to come sit and talk to me and let me know you're there to cuddle me, to hug me, to love me.
It's going to be all right.
Because that's what I need. But
what you need is an intervention.
Because that's how I numb myself.
Yeah.
That's how I numb myself. And once you become aware of why you do the things you do, some people turn to drugs. You're about to say something funny. Shut up.
I was just saying, you got like the most boring way to deal with your, like, people do cocaine and heroin. They gamble. They get prostitutes. He's like, I'm going to put on a onesie and I'm watching TV.
But because my mind is, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's in the, it's, a lot of people do it. Or some people overeat. Some people eat and eat and eat. So once you become aware of why you do what you do, then you know what? I can't cover this up.
Yeah.
Like, this is something that I need to face.
Yeah.
And that's what happened. God's like, I heard him. He's like, I need you to be in prayer. I need you to meditate. I need you to get in this. I need you to journal. I need you to write it out. I need you to, if you feel comfortable reaching out, talk to someone about it, because the more that you talk about it, the more you reveal it, and the more you're living in it, the faster you will heal.
Yeah. And then you can help other people. Yep. There's another thing that he was talking about, like, more is not always better. When it comes to material things, or not even just material things, the example that he gave was like this person, like if you gave somebody the option of living in 3 places, they can choose any of the 3, and they pick one, chances are they'll be pretty happy with the one that they picked. Now, if you give somebody the choice of 30 places that they can live, anywhere that they want, they're most likely not going to be happy with any one of the places that they pick, because they have so many options. They'll always be thinking about, what if I would have picked this other place? How would my life be if I lived over there? What if I lived over here? There's so many different options. And one thing I was listening to another podcast that it made me think about was like, they were talking about Justin Bieber and about how he's depressed, or how he was depressed. And it's like, can you imagine being 12, 13 years old, being a multimillionaire superstar, and having pretty much, I mean, you have all the options for everything in life, you know, and that is like, I mean, all the women that you could be with, all the cars that you could drive, all the places that you can live. And I mean, that may be kind of an example of that. It's like, well, I'm with her, but I could probably be with her and her and her and her. I could be driving this car, but you know what? Maybe I want that car. Or is it that car? Or I could live here, live there, you know, and it's just like nothing is satisfying because there's so much, you know, so many options. I don't know. Does that make sense? No?
I think nothing. I feel that it's because you don't really know what you want. Like, that's the bottom line.
But it's not about, the truth is that it's not about any of that stuff.
Right.
It's about being happy with what you have.
And who you are.
Or not even the material stuff, really.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Because that's just it's a cover up.
Yeah.
You know, you can have a very wealthy person who is miserable.
Yeah.
You know, and that, I think with the book he had mentioned, like, you know, you have the choice. Like, there's two different types of suffering. You know, someone who's very rich I can't remember how he said it, but someone who's poor and someone who's rich, they both have money problems.
Yeah.
They both have money problems.
Damn it. Yeah, we just listened to that yesterday.
You get to choose which money problem you want.
Yeah.
You know, because when you have a lot of money, you have different tax problems.
Yeah, those are good problems to have. I don't think that's exactly how he was talking about.
It's different kinds of suffering.
Yeah.
But yeah, I see what you're saying. I know.
I
what
wish
you're
I
saying.
had all those tax problems. I'll deal with those tax problems.
Right.
And there's a lot of poor people that are like, I'll deal with those tax problems too.
You know, different levels.
Yeah.
You know, we all go through different sufferings, you know, and this podcast went really quick.
It did.
It went really quick. We have so much
before we get out of here.
Is there,
do you have any other stuff that you want to get into? I mean, we still have some time.
We do?
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
Go ahead. You have a lot too. I mean, I don't want to.
Well, no. I mean, you barely went over your stuff. So anyway, but while you're looking at that, there's one part that he talked about ownership is like people love to take responsibility for successes. Like if anything is successful, anything is going right, things are going good, people love taking ownership of that. But people are not very quick to take responsibility for failures and mistakes that happen, which is something that I think we can all learn from.
Yeah.
And kind of on the same topic, there's a chapter in the book where he talks about you're wrong about everything, but so am I. And it's about instead of looking to be right all the time, we should look at how we're wrong. Because that's how we grow. You know? And that's like I told you when we talked about the last podcast, was it the last one or the one before? When we went to the 5 love languages, like that's something that I have to work on because I'm like, I feel like I always want to be right. But the truth is, like, if I'm right all the time, that isn't where you grow. You don't grow by being right all the time. If you're trying to figure out, all right, so to me that makes sense, whatever I just said, whatever this argument is, but what if I'm wrong? How could I be wrong? What am I doing wrong? See, I normally don't even think about that stuff. It's like, no, I'm right. I did this and I said this and that makes sense and I don't see how this person doesn't get that or whatever. It's like, well, how maybe I'm fucked up somewhere, you know?
Yeah. And that's all about self-reflecting. You know, it's like a tree that
Here we go.
You're such a butthole.
A tree in a forest.
It's either going to produce good fruit or bad fruit.
Yeah.
You know, if you are a butthole.
Here we go.
Okay. Or say one point in your life, like you felt like you had a lot of great, you know, like friends. You had a lot of people surrounding you. Everything was good.
Yeah.
things started to happen. All of a sudden, you look around and there's no one around. You know?
Yeah.
Or maybe you've been in multiple marriages.
Yeah.
4 husbands, whatever. Okay? They last so long. They're here today, gone tomorrow. Could they all be at fault for that?
Well, yeah, it's kind of like when, you know what? Everybody thinks I'm an asshole. But everybody's an asshole, but somehow everybody thinks you're an asshole. It's like, well, if everybody thinks you're an asshole, maybe you're an asshole.
You know, if you're feeling alone, it could be that you may be pushing people away.
Yeah.
If you feel alone.
Yeah.
You know, so in that type of situation, it's time to look inward.
Yeah.
And find
try
out.
And figure out where you're wrong.
Why? Yeah. You know, what is it?
Yeah. Yep.
And a lot of times that's just, it's very difficult to do.
Yep. You got anything else before we go?
So.
The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck by Mark Manson. The cover is black and orange. I think it's orange background with black letters. We got it on Audible. I definitely suggest the book. I mean, if you want to read the book, I'm sure it's a great read. But yeah, that is one that we definitely recommend.
Yeah. And he was saying that, you know, in life, you're going to go through seasons, like many seasons.
Yeah.
And there's going to be heartbreak. There's going to be pain. There's going to be suffering.
Life is suffering.
Life is suffering. And he said that when one chapter of your life closes, another will open.
Yeah.
There's always room for growth. And when you feel that you're a failure, that you failed, that's a huge opportunity for growth.
Yeah. Yep, definitely.
So look at every failure that you feel is a failure and find the lesson in it so that you don't go through that again. If you have 4 marriages that did not work,
yeah,
find the lesson, self-reflect so that your 5th marriage will be your last marriage.
Yeah. I think that's a great way to go out. One thing that we've mentioned, it was a long time ago.
And that wasn't from him. That was from me.
Yeah. But for those of you that may be going through some tough times, that right now you feel like your world is just fucking upside down. Like you were just saying, you in your life, you're going to go through seasons. And I've talked to other people about this before. And luckily we haven't had, well, maybe we have, but we just see things a little bit differently now, and we understand what they are. But you're going through seasons, and you're in a hurricane. You're in the middle of a hurricane. A person that's in the middle of a hurricane, they can't see their way out of it. Mm-hmm. They can't see how things are going to get better because you are right in the middle of this giant storm, and you're in the winter right now. But after the winter comes spring, and then comes the summer. So, and no winter lasts forever. Right. It's only a matter of time. So if you're going through that, just know. And one of the things, this is the last thing before we get out of here. No, it just reminded me of a podcast, a Jocko podcast. He was talking about when you're going through things in the military, when you're getting fired on by artillery, like they're firing shells or mortars at you. Mm-hmm. What a lot of times people think about doing is retreating. But what they teach you in the military is to advance, to attack. Because the enemy, usually, they will not bring their fire back towards them. Okay. They don't expect you to attack. Right. They expect you to retreat. So their fire doesn't retract. It goes out farther. Mm-hmm. And if you're going through a situation, instead of throwing in the towel or retreating, the best thing that you can do is prioritize and start executing and start moving forward so that you can get out, because depending on your actions, that winter could be a little bit longer. You could come out of that winter faster depending on what you do. But it's tough when you're in that to, to do that. What are you laughing at?
Our analogies are so different. It's freaking funny. Your analogies are with cars and war, and mine are with rainbows and
just
butterflies.
So you guys know, I've never been to war. I was in the Air Force, and I was stationed in Arizona for the whole time. I would never claim anything even remotely close. I know exactly what it is, but I do listen to, a lot of people that, Navy SEALs and all that kind of stuff. So it's just some stuff that makes sense.
Yeah.
But anyway, thanks a lot, babe. Freaking jerk off.
You lost me in the middle of the analogy.
Artillery,
I'm like, wait, what?
She's like, I'm out. She's like, if we're not talking about fucking seeds in the forest, I'm out.
Or fruitful trees.
Fucking trees. What'd you say? You said something about trees and fruit and a butthole. I don't know.
Is that what you got out of that?
That's what I heard. So just like you checked out, I checked out when I heard you're a seed in a forest.
And you're gonna. Stupid.
I'm like, when you're getting fired upon by artillery, you're like fucking looking at what is that on the ceiling. So anyway, thank you guys for being with us. We appreciate you guys listening.
Love ya.
Next podcast, we're going to have Sandy Semino. She is a parenting expert.
Yes.
She deals with all kinds of stuff with kids.
We need your questions.
If you have any questions about like, hey, why the hell does my kid do this? What the fuck are they thinking? What's going through their brain?
Yes.
I just don't get it. Send us your questions. You can send us a voicemail at 480-912-5128. That's 480-912-5128.
By the way, you don't have to leave your name.
Yes,
so if
you can leave it
anonymous.
anonymous.
You can be anonymous. Okay, so yes.
All right, so thank you guys for being with us.
Thank you.
We will talk to you guys next time.
Bye.